Alright, just got done prepping the frame, taking all my measurements, cut it, grounded a nice bevel on it. Just made my 2 fish plates that are going to go on the inside of the frame. Actually, that was still a little hot to touch. Let me show you what I got. So what that's going to do is it's going to go inside the frame rail, like so. This end here, the flat end, is going to butt up against that cross member that goes across here. I'll weld this all the way around. Probably easier to show you on this side. I made 2 of them identical. So when I'm done, they're going to go inside the frame rail. Obviously, this damn thing's still a little warm. I just got done making it. I'll sit in the frame right about there in the middle like that. Now you're probably asking, why is that cut like that? Back in the day, we always did that so that when after that plate's fully welded in, it's supposed to be less stress on it because it's not a straight, it's got a curve to it, so it's supposed to help de-stress where it's welded so it doesn't crack the frame. We always used to do that back in the day. Some guys will also bolt these in as well. I'm just going to weld them. This is a half-ton truck. We're not towing trailers with it. We're not loading the bed down with 30 tons of cinder blocks. This truck's really a toy. It's going to see the beach, some crap like that, some trails like out there. Nothing major. It'll be fine. So now my next step is clean this mess up, because I like to have a nice area where I'm working. I just cleaned all this up. Nice clean area to work in. We're going to clamp those fish plates on the inside of the new frame. We're going to use them as a guide to help guide us as we roll it in. We'll roll it in, we'll get it all together, we'll clamp it all together, we'll take our measurements. Who knows, I might have to go back and I might have to trim some of this. I took measurements the best I could. I used the pieces that I cut off the other frame to trace the lines out the best that I could. I'll roll the new half to this truck, take all my measurements, and if it's within, I'm welding it. If not, we'll roll it back and we'll trim whatever we got to trim. So that's our next step. So let me get at it. Let me roll it up here. Actually, let me clean this mess up. I smell something burning too. I don't know. Let me get cleaning this junk up and move on to the next phase. So now I'm just fitting, holding everything together. Got it clamped. There's where I'll be welding. I've taken all my measurements off of areas that I wrote down. Got a little spot over there I need to just knock out. Just a 3/8 of an inch off on my measurement. Don't mind, girlfriend's pressure washing the house. On this side, I got just a little bit of a nub. It's kind of hard to see where I cut it. I got to just knock a little bit off of there to close that gap up, and I'm going to take a little bit off of this edge here and bring this forward to close that gap up right there. Then I'll finally be ready to weld it. It's actually taking me a little bit longer to get this set up than in my head I originally thought it would take. But it's all part of working on jump. So as of right now, it looks pretty good. Like I said, we gotta just take this a little bit out so this side will go up. Make a weld. I'll show you what the fish plates look like on the inside of the frame. Now obviously they're just clamped there for right now. But once I get it all welded, I get that gap closed up on the bottom, I'll take that plate out because it's just clamped in. I'll weld down the inside of my angle cut, clean it with the grinder, put the fish plate in, weld it all up, we'll be done. Like I said, it took longer to do. And it is hot out here. It's over 100 degrees. That might be 99 in shade. It's hot today. This was the wrong day to do this, but she picks today to do the pressure washing. So look, hot boy. Give me a little bit. and I'll show you what I got when I'm done. They're all welded together. Some of it's not the prettiest because the frame is really rusty and pitted. But nonetheless, it's welded together. Think it'll break? No. It's fish plated. The fish plate's fully welded. Like I said, some of the welds are not real pretty. I think the liner and the welder is actually acting up. Actually, I got like this much more on the fish plate to weld. The welder just shut off. Either it's A, hot like I am, or B, it finally took a crack. It's been giving me trouble here lately. Might just be time for a new one. After all, it is pretty old. It's an old Miller-Matic 130. And she's welded about 900 pieces of junk back together. So she might just be tired. But I got a little section in there. But it didn't turn out too bad. I mean, it's not hateful. I'm not even worried about grinding it, making it look pretty. All I care about is grinding all the loose rust and scale off. And we're going to brush on some, we're just going to put red oxide primer on from Rust-Oleum. Just something so we can put some paint on the frame and it looks clean and decent. And set the bed back on it. So I'm going to wrap the video up here for today because I'm going to clean this mess up because I am wore out. This actually was kind of a pain. But it's together. All my measurements check out, so it should go down the road straight and the bed should bolt on and look like a truck again. And for the guys that are wondering why I didn't fix the other frame, I'll give you a quick tour. There's the frame that I cut off the truck this morning. There is nothing left of the rear shackles. The rear shackles are welded on this frame, but the frame is so scaly and so rusty, and it's only on the back half. As you can see, that cross member is rotted out. It's got holes. There's actually holes somewhere in the top here. I mean, look how thin it is right here. It's paper thin. The shock mounts are gone. It was just really, really rotten all the way around. You guys wondering why I did not fix that frame? That's why. Yes, I probably could have made some shackles, could have come up with some kind of idea. But when you got cross member and you've got the shock mounts and the frame's just real thin and rotten, and you got 3 parts trucks, and one has a decent frame and you don't care about it, well, that's how we fix this truck. And this isn't a permanent fix. If I keep this truck, which more than likely I will, because I never get rid of anything old, eventually it'll get a frame. Eventually I would like to paint it, but for right now we just want to have some fun with it. We are going to fix all the rust on it. Eventually, like I said, down the road when I actually do fix the body for real, it's got some rust in the back of the cab there. I'm going to treat that with Master Coat, Master Series rust paint. That'll stop it dead in the tracks. No, I don't use Pour 15 because that is straight garbage. And in fact, stay tuned on the channel because I'm going to do something that's going to be pretty interesting. I'm going to take the rustiest section of that frame before I throw it away, because we'll keep the rear. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the rustiest section of that frame. I'm going to cut it. I'm going to paint half of it with Master Coat, and I'm going to paint the other half with Pour 15 that everybody thinks so great. And I'm going to lay it out. I'll lay it on the top of this carport. And I'm going to leave it out there all winter. We'll come revisit it. And I'll bet you this Jeep that the part I paint silver will not be rusty. And I guarantee you the rust will bleed through on the part that I pour 15. Guaranteed. Stay tuned for that, because that I am going to do with a section of this real rusty frame. And I'm not going to prep it. I'm going to take a hammer and beat the loose scale off. So that way both of these products have a fighting chance against each other. It's a fair playing ground. We're starting with a crusty, dusty piece of metal that we're going to knock the loose stuff off. Brush on silvers from Master Coat. Brush on black from Pour 15, because they say, Pour 15 says, wire brush is all you need. I'm going to prove to you guys that Pour 15 is just about as worthless as used toilet paper. I don't use it. I will use Rust-Oleum before I'll spend money on Pour 15. But if you want to stop rust dead in its tracks, grab yourself a can of Master Coat Master Series Silver. You want the silver. The pigment in the silver is got stuff in it that stops the rust dead in its tracks. So that's my little plug for Master Coat. Because if you watch my channels, you know I'm a believer in that product. Awesome product. But I'll be using that on this rust that I found when I got the bed off, because I want to stop it. I don't want it to spread, and I don't have time to cut it out, make panels, and fix it. I don't have time for that right now. And we're not all about making this truck real pretty right now. Our purpose is to get this truck running, safe, lift it, go have some fun with it the rest of the summer. So look, holler at your boy, keeps it reals. Catch me on the next one. Tomorrow, not tomorrow, because tomorrow we're going after another tow truck. We'll save that for later. Holler at your boy, keep it reals.